Hello, and this is a tutorial on how to put a brake on a twister. This is an older style. They've changed it since this one, but this is a 2016. The same tutorial, though, will work for the Twister 80 or any twister that resembles this style. I think they ran this skate for maybe like 4 or 5 years, back like 2012 to 2016 or so. So you're gonna need your skate. You're gonna need your brake here. Has a brake pad already on it. You have your brake axle, which is slightly longer than the regular axle. You'll see it looks pretty similar to your ones that come in your skates, but it's a little bit longer, and it has this hole in the end for this screw to thread into. And I'll show you how that works later. And then you also have two washers that go in these holes on the brake. All right, so to get started, you want to take your back wheel off. This is the left skate. This tutorial will apply the same way to the right skate. I just happen to grab the left. Most people put their brakes on their right skate. So it's all preference, whichever your dominant foot is. So unthread the old axle. Put this aside. You're not going to need it anymore. But I always tell people hang on to your washer or your axles, because you never know, you might lose one of these, and it's always a pain. So just keep those, but you are not going to need it for now. Take your wheel out. If you look at the brake, you'll see that there's a channel right here, or a notch, and then if you take a look at the bottom of the skate, the light can focus, there's a notch right here, which that's just going to fit right into, just like that. So if you kind of look at it from the side, you'll see it sits pretty flush there, and you know you're in. So lay that down, and if you remember when you took your wheel out, that these axles thread directly into the frame here. So same thing with your brake axle. So put your wheel in, line that up, make sure the hole in the brake is lined up with the hole on the frame. Take one of your washers, and you see how it's kind of tapered down. So that goes in just like that, kind of like sits in there. Take your axle, push it through your wheel, and thread that directly into the frame. You want to get that snug. You don't want to crank down too tight on it. Make sure the wheel can still spin. If you squeeze it too tight, you'll pinch the frame, and then the wheel won't spin, or at least won't spin freely. So just give it a spin, make sure it's good. But it's nice and snug on there. So that's one side. And if you look at the other side, like I showed you earlier, that axle has a little hole in it where that screw is going to thread into. So you take your other washer and put it in the same way as the other one. Just sits in, kind of sits in there. And then take your screw and just thread that into the other side of the axle. And again, you want to snug that up, not too tight. Give your wheel a spin, make sure that goes well. Looks good. And you are ready to roll. You got your brake on. You can look in the back there. It's nice and flush up with the frame on the other side. And it looks good. And then you are ready to roll. So simple as that. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. So other than that, enjoy.